Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams. Since 1910, this ground has been the place where football and United history have been made. But now, over a century later, Old Trafford is quite literally getting old. Its grandeur is falling apart and it's time for a huge decision. This is the Manchester United's stadium dilemma: celebrate tradition or embrace the future. Designed by the legendary Archibald Leach, Old Trafford was once a modern masterpiece, a stadium that defined the future of football. But that was over a century ago. The last major renovation? 2006. Since then, just routine maintenance and smaller upgrades enough to ensure safety and functionality. The roof leaks, there's no legroom, and the only beer is warm. Food options? A bag of crisps or a frozen steak pie if you're lucky. The bathrooms are a mess, handicap access is frustrating, and the museum feels ancient. The only things still decent are the team store and the atmosphere the fans bring. This isn't the Old Trafford that once set the standard. And then there's the capacity issue. Sure, Old Trafford's 74,310 seats make it one of the largest club stadiums in the UK, but for the biggest club in the world, it's not enough. The Santiago Bernabeu holds over 81,000, and Barcelona's Camp Nou has nearly 100,000 seats. Even Wembley in the UK packs in 90,000 fans. Fewer seats mean fewer tickets sold, less matchday revenue, and fewer fans getting the chance to witness history firsthand. And getting to those seats is a challenge. The stadium's location, wedged between a railway line and a canal, turns accessibility into a significant challenge on match days. Once you're inside, the issues don't stop. Meanwhile, Manchester City Stadium, one of Man U's greatest rivals, is currently undergoing a £300 million expansion project, making Old Trafford's dilemma an even more pressing matter. But despite all these challenges, there's an undeniable, almost sacred attachment to Old Trafford. This attachment is what is leading to the urgent need to choose: upgrade or build a new one. Many argue that we owe it to future generations to keep this legacy alive, to let them experience what we have. The argument for renovation is rooted in this very sentiment. But is that enough? Let's be honest, money talks, and in this case, it shouts. Renovating Old Trafford is undeniably the cheaper and more environmentally conscious option to a certain extent. There's also a practical side to renovation. Unlike constructing a brand new stadium, upgrading Old Trafford allows the club to keep playing on its hallowed ground. The magic stays alive while the work happens in phases. The disruptions are minimised, and the atmosphere, that crucial 12th man, remains intact. If we renovate, Old Trafford could accommodate over 90,000 fans. Plans include better legroom, improved concessions and enhanced hospitality areas, everything necessary to make match days more comfortable and enjoyable for everyone. And let's not forget the essentials: fixing the leaky roof and upgrading the outdated floodlights. Old Trafford's location, wedged between a railway line and a canal, does present challenges. But with strategic investments in public transport, improved access routes and modern infrastructure, these obstacles can be overcome. Reports suggest that only around $260 million has been set aside for renovations. That's likely not enough to bring Old Trafford up to the standards of the world's best stadiums. The club will need to dig deeper or find new sources of funding to do justice to the renovation. But there are some cons for this. We'll get back to this later. That brings us to the other side of the argument, the case for rebuilding. Central to this vision of rebuilding is Sir Jim Ratcliffe. The British billionaire and founder of the Ineos Group is looking to redefine what it means to be Manchester United. At the end of 2023, Ratcliffe invested $1.54 billion to secure a 25% stake in the club. Now, he's got his eyes on making a brand new stadium, one that could rival the likes of Wembley itself, or, as he puts it, the Wembley of the North, a stadium that could seat around 100,000 fans. No matter where you'd be sitting, you'd have an exceptional view. Advanced audio-visual systems, high-resolution LED screens, surround sound, and even augmented reality features would make sure of that. From AI-driven systems optimizing everything from lighting to crowd control, to IoT sensors keeping the stadium running smoothly, the entire experience would be state-of-the-art. Energy use would be managed with precision, and maintenance issues would be detected and fixed before you even knew they existed. This stadium wouldn't just be modern, it would be green. Solar panels, green roofs, water conservation systems, the whole 9 yards. Inspired by global icons like the SoFi Stadium and the revamped Santiago Bernabeu, Manchester United is aiming to blend history with modern demands, revitalising not just the stadium, but the entire community. This vision comes with a price tag of over $2.57 billion and could take up to 6 years to bring to life. But the potential rewards, they're even bigger. A new world-class stadium which would skyrocket matchday revenues, keeping Manchester United competitive on the global stage. If we think about it, this could be a massive change for the fans and the game in itself. But, of course, regardless of what we choose, there will be challenges and things to be considered. Sure, renovations could breathe new life into Old Trafford, but at what cost? Estimates put the price tag at around $1.28 billion, but that could easily rise up to $3.2 billion as the full extent of the work unfolds. And with Manchester United already carrying nearly $1.28 billion in debt, that's a tough pill to swallow. Building a new stadium, on the other hand, isn't cheap either. We're looking at $2.57 billion to $3.2 billion. But here's the thing. A brand new state-of-the-art facility could be worth it in the long run. Renovating, though, is far from simple. Any expansion requires city approval, and that process has been a nightmare. And then there's the potential hit to ticket revenue. Operating at reduced capacity, or worse, renting out the Etihad, which could cripple the club's finances for years. Even if the renovations do get the green light, there's no guarantee they'll meet the necessary standards under current restrictions. Building a new stadium has its own hurdles. The current location of Old Trafford, squeezed between a railway line and a canal, isn't ideal for such a massive project. But it's the only way to keep the fans connected to the historic site while moving forward with a modern facility. The fan base is split. Some want to preserve the legacy, the history, the soul of Old Trafford. Others see the potential in a new stadium, a fresh start, a chance to create new memories. The environmental impact also weighs heavily on this decision. Renovation might seem like the greener option, reusing what's already there and minimizing waste. But a new stadium could be built with sustainability at its core, incorporating the latest green technologies. The choice isn't easy. But what do the experts say? Adam Williams, a football finance expert, breaks it down for us. He estimates that a new stadium could rake in around $295 million each season, not just from ticket sales, but from hospitality, sponsorships, the whole package. Last year, United brought in £136 million from match days alone, more than any other Premier League club. And that was with an outdated stadium that's begging for an upgrade. Williams believes that a bigger modernised stadium could push matchday income to $230 million, possibly even over $250 million when you factor in premium experiences. Jim Heverin from Zaha Hadid Architects has a different take. He suggests United could follow the lead of clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona, who've managed to modernise their iconic stadiums without losing their essence. Then there's Gary Neville, part of the Old Trafford Regeneration Task Force. He's convinced that even partial renovations could breathe new life into Old Trafford. And he's not alone. Andy Cole, another United legend, gets it too. He feels the emotional pull of Old Trafford, but he also knows that standing still isn't an option. If United wants to keep competing at the highest level, they need to invest in the stadium's future. Fans are divided, but that's where the task force comes in. They're here to weigh all these perspectives and find the best path forward for Old Trafford and the club's future. A recent poll by the Manchester Evening News shows where the fans stand. 53% of Manchester United supporters are leaning toward completely demolishing Old Trafford and starting fresh with a brand new stadium. On the other hand, 34% are in favour of redeveloping the existing structure, while 12.9% think it should stay mostly as is, with just essential repairs. Peter Williams, a fan since the 1960s, believes Old Trafford needs improvements and a complete demolition. Chaz Banks from the Manchester United Disabled Supporters Association believes in a revamp and wants further upgrades to keep Old Trafford inclusive and true to its legacy. The Old Trafford Regeneration Task Force is a crew led by Lord Sebastian Coe, a man who knows a thing or two about monumental challenges. Alongside him are names that resonate with every United fan: Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Greater Manchester, and Gary Neville, a legend who's bled red on that very pitch. A recommendation from the task force is expected later this year, and only then will we know which direction Manchester United will take. Until that decision comes, the deliberations continue with one goal in mind: making the choice that best serves the club and its loyal supporters. So, what's your take? Should Old Trafford get a renovation, or is it time to build something entirely new? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more Manchester United content. This journey is just beginning, and we'll be here to cover every step along the way.